Live from a country that still fact-checks jokes, it's Revenge of the Late Night Comedians with Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart, Jimmy Fallon, and Seth Meyers. And now, your host, Desi Lydic.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Desi Lydic, tonight's moderator, traffic cop, and legally cautious fun ambulance. Our mission, comedy that's funny, not cruel, and 100% true. We have receipts. Like CVS length. We're living in the second Trump administration, yes, second, after he was sworn in as the 47th president on January 20th, 2025. The ceremony even moved indoors because of the weather, which is the most relatable thing that's happened in Washington in years. And since truth in comedy is our thing, the former, now current president was convicted by a New York jury on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to a 2016 hush money scheme. That verdict was returned on May 30th, 2024. That's not shade, that's a docket. Also true, a civil court ordered him to pay more than $450 million in the New York fraud case, $363.8 million in disgorgement plus interest. Think of it as surge pricing for creative math. And in a separate case, a federal jury awarded Jean Carroll $83.3 million in a defamation judgment against Trump, an amount recently upheld on appeal. Facts, stubborn little things. Oh, and the Supreme Court's 2024 decision, former presidents have absolute criminal immunity for core constitutional acts and presumptive immunity for other official acts, but not for private ones. So, the court basically said, you can't prosecute a president for being president, but you can for being Florida man with a Sharpie. Also, reminder, he's the only U.S. president impeached twice, House in 2019 and again in 2021, and acquitted both times by the Senate. Bipartisan bickering, unanimous drama. We'll keep the jokes kind, the facts precise, and the tone spicy. Let's get to the comedians. First up, a man who knows his way around a monologue in a parking lot bit, Jimmy Kimmel.
Thanks, Desi. So, 34 felony counts. That's a lot. I checked, 34 is more than the number of times that said, "We'll be right back," during one commercial break. The jury found him guilty of falsifying business records to hide a hush money payment that helped his 2016 campaign. Some people collect stamps, he collected counts. Manhattan District Attorney's Office. People say, "Jimmy, what does falsifying business records mean?" It's like photoshopping your receipts, except the person checking is a DA, not your accountant, and the filter is a jury. On the bright side, he did stimulate the economy of court stenographers. If this keeps up, the only wall he'll build is a gallery wall for court sketches.
He taught America the difference between truth and truthiness. Please welcome Stephen Colbert.
Good evening. The Supreme Court handed down a decision on presidential immunity that basically said, if a president is doing his job, officially, you can't prosecute him for it later. Makes sense. You don't want future presidents gaming out whether they can issue a veto and avoid arraignment. But they also said no immunity for private acts. So if you're signing a treaty, that's official. If you're signing a check to your lawyer for hush money, that's a different department. I read the opinion. It's like IKEA instructions for democracy, a lot of presumptive this and outer perimeter that, and if you assemble it wrong your separation of powers falls over in the night. In short, official acts, immunity, private acts, community service. Or, at least, community disservice.
The man who made The Daily Show a verb, Jon Stewart.
Thank you. Look, we joke because it's healthier than screaming into a pillow stuffed with constitutional law textbooks. But facts are, stubborn. 2 impeachments, Ukraine pressure in 2019. and the January 2021 article for incitement of insurrection. The Senate acquitted both times. That's history, not hot take. On January 6, the crowd didn't just materialize like a flash mob for democracy. There was a rally, and the then president told supporters to fight like hell, which, to be fair, is also my advice for assembling IKEA cabinets. But context matters when it's the US Capitol. Comedy note. Accountability isn't cruelty. It's like flossing, awkward, necessary, prevents decay. If we can't joke about the powerful with facts, what are we even doing improving their Yelp reviews?
Now a man who can turn a political news cycle into a goofy game in 60 seconds, Jimmy Fallon.
Hey. So, inauguration indoors, in January, very relatable. I've had weddings with worse wind chill. He's the 47th president now. We're living in the sequel. Trump 2, Electric Boogaloo, except the dance is more like the cha-cha, 1 step forward, 2 subpoenas back. Let's play a quick game. Executive order or new diet fad? America first. That's both. Deregulate everything. Sounds real, but also definitely my cheat day. Bring your own teleprompter. That's probably a good idea. At this point, even my cue cards need lawyers.
And now, the king of the forensic desk piece, Seth Meyers.
Thanks, Desi. Let's take a closer look. In New York's civil fraud case, the court said Trump and his company inflated asset values and ordered more than $450 million in penalties and interest. That's not accounting creativity. That's tax season horror. Then there's the Jean Carroll defamation case. $83.3 million. The appeals court just upheld it. I don't know about you, but if a jury hits me with $83 million, my apology video would have production value. And yes, separate lane. The 34 felony convictions in the criminal case over falsifying business records. A jury, 12 New Yorkers, not a late-night writer's room. At this point, his legal to-do list is so long it needs a previously on recap.
Quick lightning round, 1 fact each, 1 joke each. Ready?
Fact, he's the first US president ever impeached twice. Joke, the loyalty program perk is you get a commemorative mug that says world's most impeachable dad.
Fact, the Supreme Court carved out immunity for core official acts, no immunity for private ones. Joke, so if you pardon a turkey, safe. If you invoice the turkey, call your lawyer.
Fact. On January 6, he told supporters fight like hell. Joke. If only he'd added metaphorically, you dinguses.
Fact, he took the oath again as 47th president in 2025. Joke, I'm starting to think the Bible he used was Groundhog Day.
Fact. New York's civil fraud judgment exceeds $450 million, including interest. Joke. That's the first time interest made me lose interest.
If court is the new campaign trail, he's polling at 34. Counts.
Presidents get immunity for official acts, the rest of us get immunity from bad excuses.
Democracy's messy. That's why it comes with instructions and footnotes.
Second inauguration indoors, which, honestly, is where I keep my second thoughts.
The only thing inflating faster than those assets is my segment length.
We promised funny, not cruel, and true, not wishful. Tonight we roasted power with facts, because accountability is the one value that never goes out of style. If you're mad, write your congressperson. If you're happy, tip your fact checker. I'm Desi Lydic. Good night, be kind, be curious, and remember, jokes are better when the punchline isn't democracy.